The Chicago White Sox have finally won a game. The losing streak stops at 8, and now it's time to get some momentum going. Dylan Cease was outstanding aside from one inning, and Andrew Vaughn flexed his power at the right time. The Sox did not commit an error in the game and now have a chance to take the series with Michael Kopech on the mound.
You are Locked On White Sox, your daily Chicago White Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Sox fans, welcome to Locked On White Sox. Thank you for making Locked On White Sox your first listen each and every day. We're free and available on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Locked On White Sox. This episode is brought to you by Blue Nile. This Mother's Day, give mom something she'll treasure forever with fine jewelry from BlueNile.com. And Locked On Sports listeners get $50 off $500. Use code Locked On at checkout. Hey, I'm your host, Nick Morawski, a lifelong, diehard Chicago White Sox fan, recording this podcast just blocks from the ballpark in beautiful Bridgeport. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. Really appreciate you letting me steal some of your time to talk White Sox. Locked On White Sox is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Going to talk Michael Kopech going against Brad Keller. Yes, that Brad Keller. It was another stellar outing from Dylan Cease. But first, the White Sox score 7 runs, powered by Andrew Vaughn, and stop the losing streak at 8. Sox beat the Royals 7-3. The Sox are now 7-10 on the year. So going into Wednesday, it was a day game because of the weather. They moved it from the evening to the afternoon, a chilly, windy day on the south side. Taking a look at the lineups when they came out Wednesday morning and trying to compare them a little bit to Tuesday. I'm looking for a little bit of consistency. I don't know about you. And at the top of the order, Tony La Russa had Anderson and Vaughn in the 1 and 2 spots, which is where they were on Tuesday. Berger was in the 6th spot on Wednesday like he was on Tuesday, and Engel and Mendick in the 8th and 9th spots, similar to Tuesday. There was no Luis Robert. Thought he was going to be playing. Didn't know if it was maybe a weather issue holding him out once again because of the cold temps. La Russa said that Robert's not going to go until he can do everything without discomfort, and apparently he's still feeling a little discomfort when moving side to side. Very interesting, at least I found this kind of interesting. No Leary Garcia in the lineup for back-to-back days, not in the starting lineup at least. Wondering if someone, maybe Rick Hahn, talked to Tony La Russa and said, you know, you had your fun in Cleveland. I don't know if you were trying to prove something, but please stop hitting Lurie Garcia in the 3 spot or in the 2 spot. You know what? Just maybe give Lurie Garcia some time off. Maybe think about hitting Andrew Vaughn a little higher up in that order. I see he seems to be one of the higher hitting Sox players. We're going to talk offense first before we get into Cease. And the Royals had tied it up at 3. Of course, it was 3-0 for a while, thanks to Cease's pitching. And then the Royals chipped away, got it to 3-3. Then Sox went to work in the bottom of the 7th. With 2 outs, Danny Mendick gets on base with a hit to left field. And then Anderson gets a base hit to right field. So kind of no big deal, right? Okay, we got a base hit. Anderson gets Mendick to third, 1st and 3rd, 2 outs. Royals make a pitching change, and Andrew Vaughn blasts a 3-run home run to left field to make it 6-3 at the time. Sox tacked on another. Graveman gave you 2 innings of lights out relief, and that's where it was, a 7-3 White Sox winner. Andrew Vaughn, 2 for 4 on the day with 4 RBIs. Vaughn on the year, his slash line 298, 365, 617, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs. Those home run and RBI numbers are that's leading the team. We've talked Andrew Vaughn on this podcast quite a bit. I'm sure you have had these conversations with other Sox fans in your life. Andrew Vaughn has got to be playing regularly. And I just happen to think, what happened? What would happen if Jimenez did not get hurt? Would Andrew Vaughn even be playing in yesterday's game? You got a righty on the mound in Zach Greinke. TLR has been known to sit Vaughn because he apparently can't hit righties. And it just seems like, we're going through the same things we did last year, which is bizarre too. If Jimenez did not get hurt last year with a pectoral injury, would Vaughn get all the playing time that he did? And yeah, he got burnt out towards the end of the year. He was asked to do a ton, but he was drafted for his bat. And he's a natural first baseman. He was playing some outfield, might even play a little bit of infield, DH, and doing anything we needed. Put the work in the off season. I've read the articles. We've talked about it. He has studied what pitchers were doing against him. And, he's a cerebral guy. So here you've got this Jimenez injury, and Vaughn's getting now regular playing time. I don't know if that was the plan. I don't know if that was TLR's idea. I don't think it was. I think when there was a righty on the hill, Vaughn was not going to get regular at bats. I don't get that. It doesn't make sense to me. How is he going to learn to hit a righty if he can't hit against a righty? He's not going to be able to do it from the bench. That's for sure. So, Vaughn's out in left field, and, he's not going to win a Gold Glove out there, and that's okay. Hopefully the plan is for him to be at first base eventually. And I don't know if that's going to come sooner rather than later. If somebody's going to say I don't know who it's going to be, to Abreu, hey, look, man, you're going to have to start DHing. We need Vaughn in the lineup. He's our first baseman. I have a feeling once Jimenez comes back, they're still going to put him out in left field. But we need Andrew Vaughn's bat on a regular basis, whether it's against lefties or righties. Can't have him getting hurt out there. And, he's looked a little confused, and I don't blame him. He had a situation in Wednesday's afternoon game where he dove for a low liner that was hit out, to his position. Cease was still in the game, and he just didn't make the play on it. He probably didn't break. He didn't see the ball. He didn't have a good break on it. And that's, that's going to happen when you've got a guy that's a natural first baseman playing the outfield. It's his bat that we need, and he is proving it. Berger added some offense as well. He was 3 for 4 on the day with a home run. Sox offense had 7 runs, 9 hits. Going back to Andrew Vaughn, I've been just trying to think about a nickname for this guy, trying to channel my inner Hawk Harrelson. And I know he's from California, but Vaughn just has got this quietness about him. He seems country strong. So what about just the nickname Country? Andrew Country Vaughn. I'm workshopping it. It's just the first idea. Don't fall in love with your first idea. I know, but Country, he is a strong dude. And it was good to see his power in that Wednesday game. I'm going to tell you why Dylan Cease is a big deal. More on that in a moment. Whether she prefers a statement piece or everyday subtle elegance, BlueNile.com has fine jewelry options for every mom. Shop high-quality diamond earrings, elegant tennis bracelets, or gemstone pendant necklaces. At BlueNile.com, you can celebrate all of life's special moments, from creating the custom engagement ring of her dreams to gifting a classic and timeless jewelry piece, all at prices you won't find at a traditional jeweler. Not perfect? No problem. 100% satisfaction guarantee. Shop stress-free with guaranteed free shipping and returns. Need your special purchase fast? In most cases, Blue Nile can deliver overnight. Every order is insured and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. Mark Mother's Day with something enduring. Classic diamond stud earrings, elegant tennis bracelets, birthstone pendants, and so much more on BlueNile.com. This Mother's Day, give mom something she'll treasure forever with fine jewelry from BlueNile.com. And Locked On Sports listeners get $50 off $500. This podcast exclusive is only good through Mother's Day. Use code Locked On. That's code Locked On. Plus, every order is insured, ships free, and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. Shop stress-free and find your forever piece. Go to BlueNile.com today. Thank you for making Locked On White Sox your first listen. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Now podcast. Recaps of MLB games with analysis from our local experts, taking fans through the season like no other network. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Every team needs a stopper. It's that starting pitcher that can end a losing streak for a ball club. And boy, were the White Sox on a losing streak. 8 straight games, 7 of those games against the AL Central. I think back through my fandom as a Sox fan and go through some of these players that I've seen come through. Guys like Jack McDowell, Sorotka, Parquet back in the 2000. Loaiza, Esteban Loaiza, he was a stopper for 1 year. Mark Burley, boy, you could count on Mark Burley to end a losing streak. John Garland, Freddie Garcia, John Danks had his moments. Chris Sale, of course, and Giolito as of late. And it was Dylan Cease's turn Wednesday afternoon to be that stopper. Steve Stone talks about it quite often on the telecasts. And Dylan Cease was dealing on Wednesday. He had a no-hitter going into the 6th inning. And up until that point, he just looked like he had so much command. He was able to put that 12-6 breaking ball wherever he wanted it, getting ahead in the count, looking in control. And in the 6th inning, that's where we'll pick it up here. Things kind of got off on a bad foot, but it tends to happen that way when a pitcher gives up a no-hitter. And Cease gave up a hit to Olivares. It was just a tapper to Berger, who couldn't make the play in the 6th. Cease was at 68 pitches at that point, and it was really interesting to watch him respond. So much focus. It's such a mental game, and he knew where he was at after 5 innings. Really easy going through the Royals, and here comes this 6th inning. Puts the first guy on, and now what happens? And so he strikes out Taylor to get a first out. McGuire lets one get past him. Then there's a walk to Lopez. Merrifield has an RBI single to shallow right field. None of these baseballs are being hit terribly hard by the Royals. Another run added by a Benintendi looper that Vaughn could not catch. Talked about that in the Vaughn piece. I think he just had a bad break on it. So kind of death by 1,000 paper cuts, which is been happening to the White Sox during this losing streak. And it's just fascinating to me, how a pitcher can be so dialed in and so dominant and gives up that hit. And things seem to crumble a little bit. He's spiking that curveball in the dirt. It's getting past McGuire. His pitches are sailing on him. It just doesn't look like he's got that same command and presence. Got a big strikeout, Salvi Perez, with men on 1st and 2nd. He was at 90 pitches at that point. The score is 3-2. There are 2 outs, and then bounced another breaking ball past McGuire. Runners advance. Sox decide to intentionally walk Santana. So now the bases are loaded. And here's Dozier up. And Cease got a couple quick strikes, which was great to see. But then the count goes full. So you got a full count, bases loaded. Cease is at 98 pitches, which is the most any White Sox starter has thrown this entire season. And then a big strikeout to Dozier. Wow. He had the breaking ball working. He went with the fastball. And it's such a mental game. And speaking of that, he was not happy with that sixth inning. His body language, and I'm sure, has gone on record of talking about not satisfied with how that sixth inning went. But that last pitch, that strikeout to Dozier, that fastball that got out of that jam, he gets to take that back with him and kind of build on that memory into his next start. It's a classic ending on a positive note. It could be a demeanor thing. It could be, it's growing pains for a guy like Cease. He'll get there. I mean, his stuff was great on Wednesday. He got into a jam, but then he got out of the jam, and it was the first quality start of the year for White Sox pitching, which is crazy. Cease's final line, 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts, and Cease has got his ERA down to 3.27. Ruiz, Sousa, Graveman came in to clean things up. Graveman gave up nothing in 2 innings. Hendricks still dealing with his back issue. Some sort of spasm, tweaked it in Minnesota. And Graveman had to go 2 innings. But just a wonderful outing by Dylan Cease. It would have been nice if he would have been able to maybe keep it at 3-1, or maybe give up a couple hits in the 6th and keep it at 3-0. It's tough to see that collapse after a hit is given up. It's happened before with other pitchers. It seems like just, all the focus is just gone after that one. And it wasn't even like a hard hit ball. It was just a dribbler kind of to third that Berger you couldn't make a play on it. By the time he gloved it, he just had to stick it in his back pocket. You could just tell Cease's pitches weren't sharp after that. And, McGuire let one pass, but huge strikeout to Dozier. I think that's what you build on. That's the momentum as you left that field and to build on for your next start. Michael Kopech looks to make it back-to-back quality starts for White Sox pitching. I'm going to tell you why the White Sox will make it 2 in a row against the Royals. Going to do that in just a moment. Hey, BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoffs and the start of the Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. So you can go to betonline.net and you could take a look at, some of the over-under, some of the stuff that they have for Dylan Cease, Lucas Giolito. For wins, the over-under is 11.5 for Dylan Cease in the 2022 regular season. For Giolito is going to be coming up in just a few days. Pitching, the over-under is 12.5 wins for Giolito. So head over to betonline.net. Michael Kopech is going against right-hand pitcher Brad Keller. Yes, that Brad Keller, the gentleman that had a problem with Tim Anderson flipping his bat after a big home run back in 2019. Brad Keller is going against our Sox. Should be an interesting situation, because when that bat flip happened, that was also a day game fairly early in the season. Boy, I hope Tim Anderson is in the lineup, and boy, do I hope that he gets a hold of one against Keller. Keller is 5-5 with an ERA of 3.48 and 65 strikeouts in 16 appearances against the White Sox. This season, Brad Keller 0-2 with an ERA of 2.55. 14 strikeouts in 3 appearances this season, 11 hits in 17 innings of work. So we've got video on Keller. We've seen this guy for several years, and we've got a pretty good guy on the hill for us. Michael Kopech heading out there with his ERA of 0.64, 15 strikeouts in 3 appearances this season. That's 14 innings he's pitched. He's only given up 6 hits. And reading some stuff on our pitching situation. This is from Vinny Duber from CHGO. It sounds like the Sox tweaked some things, and now Lucas Giolito and Vince Velasquez are going to be beginning the 4-game set with the Angels on Friday and Saturday. So Giolito is going to be going on Friday, and I don't know if they're going to be able to keep that string of Cease, Kopech, Giolito, but I like that. I like that 1-2-3 punch a lot. And the Angels are a tough team. I know a lot of people are going to be, attending. You got Shohei Ohtani, you got Mike Trout. It would be nice to go in with some momentum. And what Michael Kopech has been doing so far this year is, again, what we all hoped as fans we would see from Kopech, when he came over to this ball club in that big trade in the fall of 2016. And it's been a journey for Kopech, and that's really not kind of giving it its due. And he was electric last year out of the pen. Had some lively stuff, can throw a lot of pitches at times. And the plan was always to be a starter. And what we've seen so far, if this could be something he builds on, and this is the regular Kopech that we're going to have moving forward, boy, we are in for a real treat. And to line things up, Cease, Kopech, Giolito, I'm really excited for that. And you should be too, as Sox fans. Really appreciate you making this podcast part of your daily routine. You can find the Locked On White Sox podcast everywhere you find podcasts. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GG. TB. Thanks for making Locked On White Sox your first listen. Now make your second listen Locked On MLB with Paul Francis Sullivan. Just call him Sully. Brings you his unique perspective on the major leagues past and present. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Coming up on the next episode, I'll break down Game 3 of the Sox-Royals series and preview the kickoff of the Sox-Angels series starring Lucas Giolito. Really appreciate you making Locked On White Sox your first listen. I'm Nick Morawski. Until next time, go Sox.